Dubai 2022. Let's go. Nice to be here. Super exciting. I think this is where everything is happening. This is the future right here. Everybody in this room is at the right time, at the right place. Now, there are so many things I want to discuss with you and tell you over the next 25 minutes. So I'm going to whiz through it as quick as I can, give you as much value as possible. So, as Adrian said, my name is Amin Siala, and I run the exclusive Google Growth Program. The Google Growth Program basically means I bring new advertisers, new launches, build a strategy, build the insights, build a plan, and we launch them from 0 all the way to 10K spend a day and beyond. So let's get right into it. Imagine that you can access every single ad account in the world, and imagine you get to meet the smartest people, the smartest CMOs, the smartest founders, travel the world, speak to intelligent people such as yourselves on a monthly, weekly basis. Well, I'm very fortunate to be able to do that every single day, and this is why I love this industry. This industry is amazing because it's dynamic, it's fast, and it is the future. So what do? I train a lot of people within Google on sales, on strategy, on digital, but I also help a lot of the clients that you might be familiar with. So some of my clients are Binance, OKX, a lot of the top crypto exchanges. I help them with a strategy on how to grow, how to target, but everything that I do is based on data. So I love to make the decisions that are fully and exclusively based on data, and that's why they come to me and they say to me, hey, Amin, I need to generate more leads. I want more sales. I want to grow my business. I want to beat my competition. But in reality, they're wanting to find out, how can I make more money? That's what they're basically trying to tell me. And by the way, a little tip for you, if you start helping other people make money, you'll make a lot of friends real fast. So I really recommend you kind of make sure part of your business is helping others make more money. Now, why do I love performance marketing? I love performance marketing because numbers rule. Now, as somebody that studied electrical engineering, yes, I spent many years of my life doing electrical engineering, sophisticated mathematics. I love performance marketing because the numbers rule. The numbers dictate the truth. It's not a soft, fuzzy discussion conversation. It's based on empirical data. And the second bullet point here, I've written that the outcomes trump the method. Now, what does that mean? That means regardless of the product that you use to promote your product or brand, it's about the product that gives you the result. That's what matters. So how you get to the profit doesn't really matter. What matters is, do you get there? Which channel gives you the best ROI? Which product gets you the best ROI? Is it search? Is it YouTube? The tool, the method doesn't matter. What matters is the result. That's what performance marketing brings. Money in, money out. So 97% of my clients are purely performance clients. Why? Because it's a discussion based on numbers. We say, right, you're looking to invest this much. Well, we can generate leads for this much. Your conversions are at this rate. Bam, we've got a structure and a strategy. Before we even go into launching anything, we already know the results. This is my personal strategy. If somebody comes to me and says, hey, I want to launch a new brand or I want to launch a new campaign, I say before we even do anything, I need to know the end before the beginning. So I will look at the competitors. I'll see who are the top 3 to 4 competitors. What are they doing? What are the results? What are the numbers? And let's create a best case scenario and a real case scenario. Performance marketing allows you to achieve all that, and that's what I love about it. Skin in the Game is one of my favorite books, highly recommended, by an author called Nassim Taleb. He's a New York Times bestseller. Skin in the Game is brilliant. Again, every client I deal with, I have a skin in the game relationship with them, meaning if they win, I win. And that way, you can make the best collaborations with people. Once the incentives are aligned, great things can happen. Now, why is it that you should think about which niche you're spending your time? Why does that matter? Simple answer is because we all have a limited amount of energy. We all have a limited number of hours every single day. And it's because of the scarcity of energy and resources that we all have as humans, as businesses, as organizations. You need to be very careful and very deliberate about where you put that energy. Speaking of energy, instead of thinking of which niche should you pick, I think of it as where should you allocate your energy? Again, we all have a limited amount of energy. We're all here for a very short period of time. So how can I make sure that I'm allocating my energy intelligently? This is a super, super crucial decision you have to make. By the way, even if you have an existing domain, even if you are in an existing niche, I would say have a think about whether you are in the right niche. Are you in the best, most profitable domain that you can be in? And if you're looking to launch something new, listen up to the next 20 minutes because I've got a lot of great things to share with you. Because if you don't think carefully about where you're going to spend your energy, you might end up like this guy in the hamster wheel, just running to the next opportunity. Oh, I hear that this brand is good. I hear that this vertical is good. And you're just listening to everybody and not using data to make a core decision. Big risk. And I've seen a lot of people that are just following the crowd. They're following the hype. Highly recommend that you make thoughtful decisions on where you spend your time. So let's get right into it. I know what everyone's thinking here. Amin, sounds great. Love what you're saying. Tell me what I need to hear. What are the best business models out there? Well, after having spent years and years at Google, working with the top and brightest people, seeing thousands of accounts that are spending 6, 7, 8 figures per month, this is my personal list for what I think creates the best business model, okay? You want a business that has a high margin. You ideally want to be operating in a business which has little to no physical constraints, okay? Physical constraints are a pain in the backside. Shipping, logistics, delivery, things get mishandled, et cetera, things break, things tarnish with time, they deteriorate, right? You want something with an unlimited supply or a very abundant supply. You want something that doesn't require too much customer service, something that doesn't need 100+ employees. And ideally, you want to be in a vertical, a domain, an industry that's growing. There's more and more people getting into it, more and more money flowing into it. And also, you don't want to be somewhere local. You want to be operating in a business that has high demand. Now, what kind of conference are we all in today? It's a marketing conference, yes, but it's an affiliate marketing conference. One of the reasons why affiliate marketing is an incredible space is because you have a lot of the things that are here. You have that scalability. You have the ability to go from zero to sky high very quickly because you're not constrained by these physical issues, because you're promoting somebody else's hard work. And this will all come and make sense in a second. But I want to show you the inverse. And I want you to look at these bullet points and assess where you currently spending your time and where are you currently spending your energy, okay? Because if you are in a business that has a low margin like here, it's a complex product, it's hard to explain. You have to artificially create the demand. The vertical is stagnating or it's declining. It's hard to explain to people. Then maybe think again. Should you really be in this space? Again, I want to repeat this again. You have a limited amount of energy every single day. And you're going to be working anyway. You're going to be having sleepless nights. You're going to be having late nights. You might as well avoid the industries which are going to suck your time and give you little reward back. Now, here are some verticals that I've worked in, and here are some business models that I've worked on as well. Between these business models and between these verticals, I've managed and generated and started from $0 all the way to $35 million in ad spend for Google. And this is specifically launching new campaigns based on new strategies. The majority of my time I've spent on finance, lead generation. And I'll leave it to you to guess why I decide to spend my time in that domain. If you've been listening, then you know exactly why I do. But what I want to tell you here is, if I was to ask everybody here, what do you think is more important? The vertical that you choose or the business model that you choose? So I'm going to do a quick vote, right? Who here thinks that the business model you choose is more important than the vertical you choose? Okay, so I'd say we've got about 3 out of 100. And then who thinks that the vertical is more important? Okay, great. Interesting. It seems like we've got the majority of the room actually thinks that the vertical is more important. Well, I'm here to tell you that from experience and from seeing hundreds of accounts, I believe that the business model is even more important, because you can have a really good business model that allows you to be in any vertical in a profitable way. Let me give you an example. What you can do, you've got 2 choices with the dental industry, as an example, right? We know that the dental practice is an evergreen industry. There's always demand for it. People are always going to need help with their dental oral health. But you've got 2 choices. One choice is you create your own dental practice, you hire dentists, you bring the equipment, and you make all this investment in real estate. It takes a lot of time. Your second choice, for you to adopt a different business model. You're still in the dental niche, but what you're doing is you're generating leads for those dental practices. How many dental practices are there? thousands around the world. You can look at a specific country and say, right, in the UK there are 350 dental practices. If I can generate to them between 500 to 1,000 leads per month, you're at home, it's completely virtual, there's no physical constraint, the margins are very high, it matches everything that I said before. Same thing with legal. If you like the legal industry, which I think you should, is it boring? Yes. Is it profitable? Yes. Is it worth you looking at? Absolutely. Instead of launching a legal firm and hiring lawyers and going about so much headache, why don't you just generate leads for those legal firms? That way you've just opened up your customer base so that you can go after absolutely everybody. Again, business model trumps the vertical. Things like comparison sites, lead aggregators, these are ways which you can tap into any vertical and remove that constraint for you. Ideally, you want to be in the most scalable industry you can be in. You want to avoid any industry which restricts you and limits you. Now, I want to show you two metrics that if you marry them together, you'll be able to intelligently assess which niche you should pursue. I've never ever seen anything online where put these two metrics together, so I'm about to show you. You won't find anywhere online. Has anybody heard of the term ad depth before? Ad depth is probably a new term to many of you, but it refers to how many ads are shown per search. Okay, again, so per search, how many ads are shown? Now, for the second metric you're familiar with, at least I hope everyone here is familiar with, what's the average cost per click? Okay? Now, if we bring those two metrics together, what you'll be able to assess is where you should spend your energy and where you should basically invest your time. But before that, let me give you some ideas on cost per clicks. So I've aggregated the tier 1 markets for you here, give you an idea on a per industry basis for the lead generation verticals, what are the average cost per clicks. And what do you see here? The highest cost per click industry is insurance. Again, is it a boring industry? Absolutely. I've never heard anybody showing off about the fact that they are, in insurance in a party, right? But if that CPC is high, if that cost per click is high, then it means there's a lot of demand. Then it means that the auction is raising that price. There's a lot of companies that are going after a limited number of searches here. Likewise with investing, banking, credit. And again, to look at legal, mention legal again. Why is it that so many people are spending so much on legal clicks? They're spending that amount because the fruit is worth that, the strive, the struggle. So technically, whatever domain that you're in, you should know exactly what the average cost per click for the market that you're in, for the country that you're in. I mean, down to a T. If you don't know the average cost per click for the industry which you're working in, I recommend you try to get the answer today. And you need to see how does it compare to other industries? How does it compare to other markets? It's a very, very crucial number which allows you to make intelligent decisions. Now, I'm going to show you a way that I've combined the ad depth with average cost per clicks. And the next slide doesn't exist anywhere online because it's a KINZA exclusive I made just for you. I've put together ad depth alongside average cost per clicks for the US market. And this shows you two interesting things. If you look at apparel, what do you see in apparel? Something specific about apparel. You can see that the average cost per click is very low. Right? It's what? It's under $1. It's almost 50 cents for apparel, clothing. But the ad depth is very high. So you've got a very high ad depth and very low CPC. Okay? Now, I don't know how many of you here like maths or dislike maths, but just try to like maths just for the next couple of minutes. So it means there's a lot of advertisers that are showing ads for apparel searches, but the costs are very low. Now, behind me here, which is the opposite industry that you see? So apparel's got low CPC, high ad depth. Finance has a very high average cost per click and a small number of ads being shown per search. Now, what does this mean? How could you use this data for you to make decisions? Well, this tells you a lot. Apparel, the reason why the ad depth is very high and the cost per click is very low, because everyone is searching for clothes, number one. Everyone's launching a clothing brand. It's easy to understand what clothes are, right? It's easy to understand what a jacket is and what trousers are. So everyone's getting into that business. The barriers to entry are very, very low. Anybody mostly can launch an apparel brand. It's not that difficult to get in. But you look at other industries which have a higher barrier to entry, something like finance. It's not easy to go in and spend a couple of dollars for a click. So in the same token, you need to understand that this shows you where the demand is and where that fruit is. So take away from here that whenever you're looking to launch into an industry, try to think about what are the average cost per clicks and how much competition is there right now bidding. These are all very critical signals. Now, as we are perfectly bang on in time and I'm leaving some time for questions, I want to give you some takeaways here. Choose your niche wisely, okay? Regardless of the niche that you're currently working on right now, keep assessing it on a quarterly basis. Are you in the right time? Are you in the right place? Are you putting your energy where you're getting the most reward? Number 2, play to your strengths, or better put, don't play to your weaknesses. Okay, if you've got a weakness, if you're not good at a certain niche or an industry or a business model, do not operate in that space. Ideally, you want to be operating in a space which you are excellent at, which you are superior at, and avoid the ones which you don't have anything special to bring to the table. It's a very, very competitive space out there. The virtual world has an infinite, limitless pool of competition. Your competition can be in any country, in any continent. So you need to make sure that you bring in an unfair advantage to the table of any kind. Bullet point number 3. If anyone's been to my talks before, I always talk about this, and it's one of the biggest conclusions that I've drawn that I would argue some could see as controversial, some could see as strange, and I say you should imitate before you innovate, okay? The media in tech is always telling you about innovation, create the next brand, create the next technology. And we as humans, we like that. We love innovators. We love people that bring new things to the table. But for you as business owners, as affiliates, as brands, as agencies, you are taking a risk every time you innovate. If you're going to launch a new business model that's never been done before, good luck to you. Because if you look at the statistics, the majority of businesses fail. The majority of startups do not make it past a year. So don't ignore these numbers and don't let the emotions win you and think, yes, you know, I will make it, I will beat the odds. I highly recommend you don't try to go against the grain. Do not go against the numbers. So what you want to do at the beginning, at the early stages of your career, of your brand, of your journey, is to focus on what is working right now, okay? Nobody has complete domination of any industry. It never happens. There's always room for another player. Go after those evergreen industries. Go after industries that have worked for a long time, because if they've worked for a long time, then they'll continue to work for a long time moving forward. To drive this point home for you, can you be a professional basketball coach, a football coach, a table tennis coach, all at once? It's impossible. There's nobody out there that can be superior at all these skills. Chances are you're better off focusing on one domain that you highly excel at. Okay, so really have a think about, are you spreading yourself too thin right now? Are you operating across various industries and verticals and business models? You're probably driving yourself insane. Try to intelligently choose, take the time to think about the niche that makes sense for you based on your skills, based on your strengths, and based on what the data suggests is profitable. I'll finish off with a little bit of an example. Back in 2021, I saw a video of Floyd Mayweather skip rope. And when I saw him skip rope, I thought that was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. I could never skip rope before that. I picked up the skipping rope and I skipped every single day until now. I love it, and I'm not too bad at it either. Same thing applies in digital marketing, okay? And in the digital world, choose a skill set. Choose a specific specialization for you to dominate in. Any agencies in the room? Okay, good. We've got about at least 12 agencies I'm counting here. Even agencies should specialize, because you've got a much better chance of converting a lead if you're a specialist. If you go in there and say, hey, I do everything. E-commerce, no problem. Lead generation, no problem. Finance, no problem. Nobody is good at everything. So choose that one specific skill set that you want to completely dominate. Now, if you liked anything that you heard today, if you want to go from 0 to $10,000 plus a day in ad spend with the support of the exclusive Google Growth Program, if you feel like you're ambitious, if you've got a track record you can share with me, do reach out. The Google Growth Program and my team, what we do is we work with you ahead of time, ahead of launching anything. We look at the competition, we look at the market, we give you exclusive insights, we put a plan together for you, we give you invoicing, we give you tracking, measurement, various teams on Google, assign account managers, and off we go and execute for you. We've done this time and time and time again successfully. We've got a tremendous track record, and if this is of interest, definitely do reach out. This was Amin Siala. Thank you very much.